Today is Good Friday. This is the day our Lord suffered and died on the cross for us. In the Book of Truth, Jesus reveals specific details regarding his crucifixion. No man understands the extent of my suffering during my crucifixion or the way in which I was scourged. My scourging was the worst. I was beaten savagely by 10 men, and every inch of my body was slashed. The flesh on my back was torn, and my shoulder blades were visible. I could barely stand, and one eye was bruised and crushed. I could only see through my left eye. By the time they took me before Pontius Pilate and placed the crown of thorns on my head, I could barely stand up. They then stripped me bare before placing a short red garment over my head, and then placed a palm branch in my right hand. Each thorn was like a needle, so sharp was it. One of these thorns also pierced my right eye, which left me barely able to see. I lost so much blood that I vomited, and was so dizzy that when I began my ascent to Calvary, I could not hold the cross. I fell so many times that it took hours before I reached the top of the hill. I was scourged and whipped each step of the way. My body was bloody all over and covered with a thick sweat produced by a scorching sun. I fainted a few times. Much as this was painful and agonizing, the most frightening of all was the hatred shown to me, not just by the adults along the way, but by young children who kicked me because they were following their parents' example, because behind it all they were still not sure whether or not I was in fact the Messiah they were awaiting for so long. It was easier, therefore, to hate me, denounce me, rather than accept me, for that would have meant that they would have had to change their ways. My most agonizing moment was when I lay on the ground on my side, having been kicked in the back again, and saw my beloved mother looking at me. She was heartbroken and had to be held up by 2 of my disciples. I could only see her through the one remaining eye, and I could not bear to watch her torment. Stay tuned for part 2.